Hey everyone, I'm Stephanie, host and head bookologist here at the Get Literate podcast. I'm a book loving, notebook hoarding reader and writer on a mission to change lives one book and one notebook at a time. On this podcast, we explore the power of bookology. What's that? That's the study of books and reading and notebooks and writing mixed with mindful practices and creativity to create lives we love. Here, you'll find episodes exploring the reading and writing life and how they can make our actual lives better. You'll get book recommendations and notebooking prompts around particular themes, and you'll even hear from authors and special guests who can fuel our reading and writing hearts and help us take inspired action in our own daily practices. So, grab a notebook and your TBR list and let's get literate. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Get Literate podcast. I'm Stephanie, and I am back with another episode on how reading and writing can make life better. Today, we are talking about something that has never been discussed here on the podcast, or quite frankly, anywhere else for that matter. I am talking about 3 new ways to practice bibliotherapy. Now, typically, bibliotherapy, which essentially is using books for therapeutic purposes in your own life, bibliotherapy usually is about the book, right? We are reading particular books to help us grow through what we are going through. We are paying close attention to the characters, to the plot, to the transformation of those characters, to the quotes that are jumping out at us, to the connections and the disconnections we are making, so that we can use that book as a tool to help us in our actual life. The focus of that bibliotherapy is typically the words, right? It's the text, it's the letters and the sentences and the paragraphs and the prose on the page that helps us make sense of things that are going on. But on a recent conversation I had with Bijal Shah, now that was episode 171, and if you haven't listened to that yet, I highly recommend you go back and take a listen. We talk all about bibliotherapy and especially how writing, literary journaling, can be another tool in your bibliotherapy toolbox. Well, in our conversation, we happened upon the idea that for us, bibliotherapy was more than just the book. Yes, it was about reading the book and the words and writing down how they were speaking to us, but it was also about the process around those books. It was knowing how the author wrote it or make a connection to something outside of the book that had just as much of an impact on us. And in that episode, I said, oh my goodness, I didn't even think of those other things that we do as bibliotherapy. And of course, I have been thinking about it ever since. Bibliotherapy isn't just about reading the text. It's all of those text adjacent things that matter as well. And that's what I want to share with you today. 3 brand new ways to practice bibliotherapy to make life better that doesn't actually involve the text in the book. Okay, so here we go. Number 1, learn about the author's backstory. This is one of my favorite things to do. Yes, I love reading books written by my favorite authors, but I also love knowing who my favorite authors are. Who are they as people? How did they become writers? What about their backlist of books? What do they like to eat for a snack? What's their favorite way to write? What kind of notebook do they use? What other things do they do in the world that I might enjoy too? There's something so personal about gifting a book to the world, right? That book is part of the author. And if you enjoy that book and are learning from that book and are seeing things differently because of that book, then chances are learning about the author who wrote it could do all of those things too. So there's a couple of ways that you could learn about the author's backstory and see if you can make any connections, disconnections, have any inspired action ideas. And the very first and easiest thing is to simply turn your book over. That is, of course, if you are reading a physical book, but turn the book over and read the short biography that is typically on the bottom of the back of the book. Or if you're reading a hardcover, open up that back flap and read that author bio that often sits there and just see what you learn. Now, if there isn't an author bio there, or you want to know more about that author, I recommend heading to their website. Just about every single author I have read recently has some sort of author website. Some are quick and to the point, some are very elaborate and come with all sorts of bells and whistles and resources. But those websites give us a snapshot into who those authors are as people. We know if they like cake. We know how many kids they have. We know where they grew up. We know what they wanted to be when they grew up, and now they're a writer. They often put those little tidbits of their backstory that there isn't room to fit on the book inside their websites. And that's where you can make so many cool connections. This is why I love my other podcast so much, Kidlit Love, because I get to know those backstories. For example, when I chatted with Roseanne Perry, she wrote a book called A Wolf Called Fire. It is a middle grade novel. And I learned that she does much of her writing in her backyard treehouse. I mean, come on. What a fun invitation to go outside and write, or just go somewhere fun and see what comes out on the page. Another author I interviewed, Audrey Perot, she has this amazing Instagram, Audrey Books and Bakes, and she makes these elaborate, beautiful cakes and cupcakes and desserts that match her books or not, but all are typically gluten and dairy free, I believe, to help make sure her kids who are gluten and dairy free can enjoy those snacks. And I admire her so much. Number one, for going the extra mile, right, in that food intolerance area, because I have that too. But I love how she truly just makes these elaborate desserts on a Tuesday just because she wants to. Right. So not only do I love her books, but I love the way she lives her life around those books. Now, the back of the book's one thing, the website's another. You can also head on to your author's social media pages. Maybe it's Instagram, maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's TikTok, maybe it's my favorite now, Substack. Whatever it is, authors typically have some sort of social media space where they share information about their books and the releases of them, but also information about themselves and about their life and about things related to the books. So all of those places can help us get a better insight into who our favorite authors are, or better yet, the authors we don't know yet that might become our favorites, so that we can not only learn and gain from the books, but also from them. So, number 2, what is another way to practice bibliotherapy that is text adjacent? Explore the media surrounding the book. So, reading the book and internalizing those words and reading them with an open heart and an open mind and taking inspired action in your life, right? That's one really fun way to practice bibliotherapy. But in today's day and age, there is a lot of media that surrounds the books that we read. And if you're looking for a couple of ideas, I have them. So, number 1, head to the author's website, head to the publisher's website, and see if there's a discussion guide for the book. This is becoming more and more common. Sometimes there are discussion questions that are actually even printed in the back of the book. So that's something for you to check out, because perhaps those questions there will help you think about the book in a way that you didn't on your own. Now, you can also do this by searching for the book title in your favorite book clubs. Has Jenna read it? Has Reese read it? Has your favorite book club online, on Substack, on Patreon, Get Literate, maybe for my book club, have we read it? And if so, you can take a deep dive into that book club and perhaps participate live, or go back into the archives and see what other people were saying about the book, right? Because in those questions, in those activities of the book club, you can often go deeper. Now, there's also book trailers. Many authors are doing this, and I love these. This isn't because the book is going to be animated on Netflix. right? Although that is happening more and more, which I absolutely love. But they are short video clips that help bring the book to life in a very visual way. So all you have to do is Google the name of your book and then add the word trailer. And you might be surprised at some of the book trailers that come up, or at least some of those quick video clips that the author may have posted on social media in anticipation of the book. Watching those can again be a spark for a different way of thinking. So can any social media related to the books. One of the things I love to do when I review a book is add hashtags, right? So I'm always adding my own hashtags. Hashtag a lit life, hashtag get literate, hashtag kidlit love. But I always add the hashtag for the book title. I don't know how many other people do it too, but there are enough so that when I search for the hashtag of the book title, I can often see what other people are saying or what other people are sharing or what media is surrounding it, which book clubs are reading it, which book guides are including it, which favorite podcasts are talking about it. So finding on social media by searching for the book or searching for the hashtag title could be an option. And of course, you're listening to a podcast, so doing a quick podcast search with the title of the book might bring up coverage on other podcasts, or doing the same on Google might bring up blogs and other bookish goodies as well. There is one publisher that I think is leading the way and has just enriched my bookish experiences so much, and that is Zibby Books. You know, I love Zibby Books. I have read pretty much every single one of them, I think, at this point. And Zibby Books does this amazing job at curating media around the book to enhance the reading experience. So if I think back to Super Bloom by Meg Tatey, there were recipes for you to make your own spa creams at home. There were journal prompts to help you journal and tell your story, like the character. If I think of Wine People by Michelle Wildgen, oh, that was fun. There were wine tasting guides, and there were links to all sorts of cool facts about wineries and where they are and the ones you could visit. Things that, yes, may have sparked your thinking while you were reading the book, but certainly expanded on it in ways I didn't even think about. So those are just a couple of ways to explore the media surrounding the book to get you to think differently, bigger, from another perspective, or just enrich the thinking you already have. So we already have two. Number one, as a recap, learn about the author's story. Number two, explore the media surrounding the book. And number three, dive into what other people are saying. Bibliotherapy is often practiced alone, right? It's you and the book, maybe your notebook, and it's pretty silent. But there is such thing as group bibliotherapy. There is such thing as working with a bibliotherapist, or as I like to call myself, a bookologist, right? So finding out what others are saying, that can get you to think differently, to expand the possibilities for the book. So you may just call up your book bestie and ask her what she thought of the book and exchange ideas back and forth. You might head to an online group. I love going into my bookish Facebook groups and typing a title that I'm reading and seeing what other people are thinking about it. In fact, there was one title that I did this for, Kristen Hanna's The Great Alone. And for me, that book was about, at its core, relationships. Mother-daughter relationships, father-daughter relationships, family relationships. There were all sorts of complicated webbed relationships in this book set primarily in Alaska. But when I read what other people were saying about it, I looked at those relationships and those webs of relationships a little bit differently. And it helped me uncover some things about myself and some beliefs I had about relationships that I didn't quite see before I did that. And I didn't talk to these people live. I just typed the title in the Facebook group and was able to really shift what I was taking away from the book in a really good way. Now, you could always go to your favorite book club sites and see if they've read that book before, talk to members about it, post comments on wherever the recording is, or better yet, join in live if you still can. And of course, there's always Google. Just Google the book. See what blogs are talking about it. See which podcasts are talking about it. Listen, eavesdrop to those conversations. And even if they're not live, see how they can add to your understanding, your interpretation, and your learning of the book so that you can apply it to your actual life. So there you go. 3 brand new ways to practice bibliotherapy that aren't actually focused on the text in the book. Let's recap them one more time. Learn about the author's backstory, explore the media surrounding the book, or dive into what others are saying. I promise you, if you explore this text adjacent piece of bibliotherapy, you're going to enrich your practice so much more. Now, I would love to know which of these ideas appeal to you. Find me in the comments of the blog post that I shared for this episode at elitlife.com. You can comment on my social media post, or as always, click that audio button. I love to hear your voice when you're talking about these books. And if you're looking for a community to help you dive deeper into your own bibliotherapy practices, you can join me in my Get Literate Substack community. It's only $5 a month. You get a monthly bibliotherapy book calendar with a book recommendation around a one-word theme every single day, along with notebook prompts, bonus episodes, a live book club, and so much more. If you'd like to take a look at that, you can click the link in the show notes or head to getliterate.co. We can support each other as we practice these new ways of bibliotherapy to make life better. Thanks for listening to this episode, everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Get Literate podcast. You'll find links to all the books, resources, and ideas mentioned in the show notes and at elitlife.com. And if you want more, you might like to join my Patreon community. There, you'll find additional inspiration for your reading and writing life, like bonus podcast episodes, book calendars, monthly book clubs, notebooking inspiration, live events, giveaways, and more. It's only $5 a month, and you get instant access to all of the previous content too. Learn more at getliterate.co. And one more thing, if you love what you listened to today, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast, or take a screenshot of the episode and text it to a friend. This helps the podcast grow, and it builds our bookish and notebookish community too. Thanks for listening.